Hey guys, Russian Rider here. Today I wanted to make a video review pretty much of this bike after owning it for a week. Now I actually owned it for just over a week and 1 day, and I've been riding it basically every single day, so I do have some experience with it. I have almost 300 miles on it so far. I wish I had more, but so far it's almost 300 miles, and I've been riding it to work almost every day, and just haven't been able to go on very much just rides for fun, but I have went on quite a bit of short runs to the grocery store, pretty much any chance I could get to go do something. I felt like going out and riding the bike, of course. And yesterday actually we had some rain in the morning, and I still decided that I wanted to ride the bike. Got a little bit wet, but it was still fun. But as the evening came around, we actually had a storm come through and actually knocked out some of the people's power, so it was fairly serious, and they were forecasting another storm to come through today and it be raining all day. As you guys could see, it's really nice out, so that didn't happen. And as the evening went on, I was editing different videos on my computer, and I just really missed the bike just because I didn't ride it to work that day. I just had this kind of itch to go ride. I don't know if you guys ever get that type of feeling. Let me know in the comments if you guys get the little itch to go ride your bike if you haven't ridden it for a little bit. Now I know I've only had the bike for just over a week, so it is still new. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get that itch after less than a day of not riding it, but I guess that's something we're gonna see as the time goes on. So almost 300 miles on this bike. I haven't had a bike for about 4 years now, is when I sold my Buell, and picking this bike up got me really excited again. And I actually only found out about this bike, I think I mentioned in my first video, about 5 days before buying it. Actually, I bought it on the 5th day after I found out that this bike even existed. And what really convinced me is all the super positive reviews that I got. Just watching some videos online, reading some articles, everybody just raved about this bike. So I looked at the specs, looked at the miles per gallon, definitely the price, and I was like, this is the bike for me. I knew right away, this is what I want, this is what I'm gonna get. And so I went out to try to look for one that was in my town. There's a couple different dealerships, but none of them had a FZ-07, and they had a couple that came in, and they basically sold the same day. There was a bunch of other people that wanted them, that were asking about them. So I went up on the internet, and I found the closest one. It was just about 2 hours away, maybe slightly over 2 hours. So I called, put down a deposit, and of course it was this white one. They actually had two that came in. One was a red that sold right away, which is actually the one I wanted. But they had this white one, so I made a deposit over the phone, and then I got my family, went out, and picked it up. You guys can go check out that video. It's the first one I made. So it's kind of my little short story before I go into talking about this bike. And just kind of give you a heads up where I'm coming from. So my thoughts on the bike. There's a ton to love about this bike. I'm sure you guys already guessed that. If you guys are interested in buying one of these bikes, I'm sure you're doing different research, doing reading online, watching some videos, all that sort of stuff. So pretty much everything that people say about this bike is true. I'll give you guys just a couple things I'm loving about this bike. The one is the look, of course. I definitely like the look. The white looks a lot better in real life, like I already mentioned, than on photos. The photos just really make it kind of look bland, kind of not interesting, I would say. But once you see it in real life, it really pops. The pearl really pops out, and it looks wonderful, I would say. I haven't seen a white, I haven't seen a red or any of the colors. This is the only one I've seen in real life, is this white one. But it looks really nice, so if that's one thing that concerns you, just a heads up that way. The bike feels amazing to ride. Now, I do have riding experience in the past, but I haven't ridden for about 4 years now, and this bike is so easy to just lean. I'm just barely moving my body right now, and it just is very responsive. And I'm trying to look for one other word that's really overused. I guess it's a good thing that I don't remember it, but it pretty much does what you want it to do. I think it's a perfect bike for a person that's just starting out or getting back into it, or even if you know what you're doing, you've been riding for a while, you want something that's really nimble, easy to ride, fun to ride, I think this is the bike for you. The mirrors, I actually just got them adjusted properly to be able to see the other lane. It took me a little bit of playing with it, messing around, and today actually I accidentally bumped this and it kind of went into the proper spot, and actually pretty much it just needs to go farther back. So I have those set up. I'm very happy that you can actually see out of them the way they come. I know a lot of guys go out and buy aftermarket mirrors. I know on the Harleys, on the Sportsters especially, that's the first thing you have to do is either flip the mirrors upside down or buy some other ones because you can't see out of them. So the mirrors look good. I love this whole setup. The bike is fairly comfortable to ride. I don't have a lot of experience riding other crotch rockets, but from what other people say, the seat is very comfortable. I like it. Your butt does start to get kind of numb after the 2-hour drive from Moses Lake when I was picking up the bike, but other than that, it's nice and squishy. I haven't had a passenger on the back yet. Let's see what else I like. The front brake works really, really well. Of course, the front wheel has 2 disc brakes that are very large, so that works really nice. The back brake, I want to say, could be a little bit better. I don't really know what it compares to other bikes, but I don't feel as confident pressing that down as I do with the front brake. And as far as the gas mileage wise, that's one thing when I was looking into bikes, I definitely wanted something that was better gas mileage. If I'm going to be adding on a bike payment to all my other bills, I want to make sure it somehow, gives me a little bit of bonus other than fun. That was one of the criteria, and that's definitely something that if you got to pitch it to your wife or to somebody else, it's something you can kind of pop in there. Yeah, this bike gets 58 miles per gallon, so it's going to save me a lot of money. Let me see. So right now I'm cruising in 5th gear, 41 miles an hour. It's showing 70. I think I'm actually averaging, on this tank, I'm averaging 50. And of course the bike is still braking in, so it should get a little bit better. But I think that's fantastic. My car averages about 16, 17. So realistically, the gas that this saves me should cover the payment of the bike, which is awesome. So that's been really enjoyable. Of course, I feel addicted to riding it. Pretty much everything's great. Suspension is great. It has tons and tons of power. I mean, I'll downshift into a second. Yeah. I don't know if I need to say anything. It has a ton of power. I mean, it's just under a 700, but it pulls and has a ton of torque, which I absolutely am loving. So one thing I just want to mention right now, I am still in my break-in period, and there's some controversy between different people, different beliefs. Some people say you have to stick to the manual, exactly what the manual says. Do that. Don't rev it up. Don't do this, don't do that. Now there's another side that says from the very get-go, let the bike warm up and just give it all you got. Run it to redline, let it break in. Yeah, there's kind of both sides. Honestly, I don't know who to believe. I've asked a couple people. They both gave me different answers. So I've been kind of doing something in the middle. I'm trying not to keep the revs in the same pace. I mean, I'm up to about 300 miles, so I think it's partially broken in already, but trying not to keep the RPMs at the same level. But I have redlined it. I think that was the 3rd time I got really close to the red line, but definitely always when it was completely warmed up. So I think the bike's going to be just fine. So as far as power, the torque is what I absolutely love, combined with a really lightweight bike that's very nimble, and of course the price, but the torque is what just makes it really, really enjoyable. Before this bike, I actually had a Buell XB9S, which had almost 1,000cc Harley V-twin motor, and so Harley motors are definitely known to have a good amount of torque, especially on a lightweight bike, which the Buell was, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. One of the things I wish it had was a 6th gear, which this bike has, so that was one other plus for me. But honestly, I don't know what the specs were on the Buell, the actual numbers, but this bike feels like it has more power than that Buell does, even though it has a smaller motor and it's not a V-twin. Just rolling on the throttle, even from fourth gear right there, it pulls. Now my Buell did pull, but it didn't pull wheelies. It didn't pull any power wheelies when you gave it some gas. That's another thing about this bike. Just in first gear, just rolling on the throttle, the front will come up. It will come up in second gear as well. People say you can do it in third gear. I haven't tested that, so I can't really comment on the third gear wheelies, but I mean, it's really, really fun to ride. And that torque makes it really nice. Even like that, you know, starting out from 4,000, 3,500, and it just pulls. You can't do that on a R6. You know, on a 600, you need to be above 8,000 RPMs if you want it to pull. Not on this thing, you know, fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear. Give it a little bit of gas and it just pulls. So I've really, really been enjoying that. This thing is really fun to ride in the town. One kind of, let's say, I'll shift into the downsides for now and give you a couple different things that I don't like. So the first thing is riding on the freeway or the highway, just in a straight line at high speeds for quite a while. So when I picked this bike up, it was about a 2-hour ride home, like I mentioned already, and that was between 75 and 80 miles per hour, pretty much going straight the whole time. And one, it was a really boring ride, which that kind of gets to you, and also just mainly the wind, the actual wind that hits you. I know this bike has no windscreen whatsoever, or windshield, whatever you call the thing. So just that hitting you for that long, it does get kind of annoying. Of course, I didn't regret doing that. I just got the bike. I absolutely loved it. So it was still perfectly fine. But that's one thing that would have made it better, is a little windscreen. Let me get up this little hill here. So as soon as I got back into the city, that's when I was just like, wow, this bike is phenomenal. It pulls fantastic. It's just super, super fun. So one downside, if you guys are going to do a lot of highway riding, maybe you should look a little elsewhere, something that comes with a windscreen. And I know they're going to have some windscreens available for that. You see there's some mounting points right there. So I'm going to pick one of those up, but that's kind of one downside. The next downside I would mention, I think probably the only downside I can really mention now, is the exhaust. Now I know a lot of bikes come with weak exhaust from the factory. I don't know why they do that. Pretty much everybody goes out and buys another exhaust, but it really, really just doesn't sound very good. If you want something quiet where your neighbors will get annoyed if they can hear your bike, then I guess it's a good thing, but it doesn't sound very good. I'm used to the exhaust I had on my Buell. It was a Screaming Eagle, and that thing, you just start it up and you have that famous low grunt of a Harley. Just phenomenal sound. This thing, you pretty much can't even hear an idle. I mean, you can, but you can't. When you roll on it, when it hits maybe 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs, you definitely, it gets quite a bit louder, and it does have a decent sound, but I can only imagine what this bike is going to sound like once you actually throw a decent exhaust on it. And I do have one pre-ordered. It's a Akrapovic, if I am pronouncing that properly. I'm not sure if I am or not, but yeah, Akrapovic, something like that. I have one of those pre-ordered, so I can't wait to put that on. It's gonna sound phenomenal. I can't wait. So that's my other downside to this bike. So no windshield, which could be easily fixed, and it will, and exhaust is too quiet, which most bikes have that issue. That's going to be easily fixed as well. Other than that, guys, I am absolutely loving this bike. I have nothing else bad to say about it. You know, let's just go over tons of power, lots of torque, very fun to ride, very, very nimble and responsive. It does what it tells you to do. Soft ride, nice, I'm out of fingers. Nice riding position, comfortable seat. What else? Great gas mileage at the same time as having lots of power. And I think the last thing, I'm sure I can keep going on, but the last thing I'm going to say is the price. So MSRP of $6,990. So if you go look around, what else can you get for that money? Maybe 300 Kawasaki's a little bit less expensive, but for that money, realistically, there's nothing else that touches this bike. So that's one of the reasons I just went out even before I ever even saw the bike and I bought it. Would I recommend this bike? Definitely. Is this bike getting a ton of attention? Yeah, it is. It's sold out pretty much everywhere. The dealers in my town and where I live actually said that they don't think they're going to get one until maybe the end of August or early October. So they're super popular. If you want to get one of these, you can't test drive it, but you like what you've heard, what other people have said, magazine articles, whatever, you're fairly confident you're going to like it, I would say don't doubt it. Put a down payment on if you actually want to pick one up. I have a feeling that they're going to sell out fairly quickly. So guys, I hope you enjoyed hearing me just babble on about this bike. I hope I made sense of what I was saying. As you can tell, I'm definitely enjoying it. And I'm going to have more videos out in the future. I can't wait to get an exhaust. I'm going to do a full-on video on from A to Z how to install the exhaust. And I'm going to do some other modifications. One thing that I just ordered, it's an inexpensive $50 modification that's going to make your bike sound better and give you some more safety as well. So I have that coming up on my channel. And I'm going to keep doing these review videos as time goes on. So far, this is my 1 week one. I'll do a 1 month one, then maybe a 3 month one and a 1 year one, just to kind of give my progress as I'm getting more used to the bike. Just see if I get any other downsides on it or anything like that. So I'll be sharing that. So if you guys are interested in seeing some more videos like that, also some different topics that I'm going to talk about, definitely subscribe to my channel. And I will be making some awesome videos for you guys. I just bought this GoPro, so I gotta make my investment worthwhile. And also, if you guys have some suggestions or anything like that, anything you want to advise me what I could do better, if there's anything wrong, go ahead and let me know. I'd love to hear it. Also, if you guys have any questions of the bike or anything else, let me know. I'll definitely get back to all of you guys. And the last thing I want to mention is I'm trying out a couple different mics. The last video I did where I was buying the GoPro, in the end it was one mic, and then now I'm trying out a different mic. So if you guys want to compare those two, let me know what sounds better. I want to make sure that the audio sounds good in these videos. I know there's a ton of wind noise while I'm riding right now, and that's kind of my worry on these videos, so that you guys can actually hear nice and clear what I'm saying. So thank you guys for watching. Definitely subscribe to my channel, and I just hope you guys have a wonderful day. And if you have one of these bikes, definitely go out and enjoy it.